The latest national news is just minutes away with ABC News updates at the top and bottom of every hour on 890 AM WLS. Jake Hartford is on 890 AM WLS.
.523. You know, I was thinking, because that's what I always do. I think all the time. I never stop thinking. And I was thinking to myself, does the president have a theme song? Because remember, Bill Clinton's was Don't Stop Believing? You know what Obama should be? On the road again. He finished his Martha's Vineyard vacation last weekend, went down to New Orleans to do an interview and tell the people of New Orleans he's going to really help them rebuild a year and 9 months into his term. And then he gave a little talk to the nation for about 10 minutes on Tuesday about Iraq, had some meetings in the White House to bring peace to the world, which hasn't happened yet, and now he's on to Camp David for a last-second vacation. God bless him. He hasn't golfed in about 4 days. While he was in New Orleans, he did this interview, and I wonder if he just wants to start trouble. Things are too quiet and he's out of the spotlight. Because I know he's doing a good job on this Summer of Recovery tour. If you saw the economic numbers yesterday, unemployment is up, which is a good thing. It really is. That's what they said. So anyway, when he was down there, he's doing this interview. He had this quote, which I really enjoy. He says, "I can't spend all of my time with my birth certificate plastered on my forehead. Just like I can't spend all my time catching fish every day." So I saw that, and the first thing came to my mind, anybody who would say, "I can't spend all of my time with my birth certificate plastered on my forehead," I thought, that must mean if he can't spend all his time doing it, there must be times he does do it. And if he does do it, someone must have seen it, and if someone's seen it, I'm sure they took a picture of it. So on our Facebook page, and you can join our Facebook page, just go to Facebook, then Jake Hartford Show, and ask to be a member. But if you have a friend that's in the media, there's a certain person in the media in this town, if you're his friend too, well, we won't take you, I just warn you. But, so I put that up there, and I just said, I put the quote, "I can't spend all of my time with my birth certificate plastered on my forehead," and I said, I've never seen that. Has anybody have a picture of it? Because if there was a picture of it, you would have seen it. I doubt if one exists. Well, I got to tell you, people to the far left, they're much too easy. I became a birther goofball. I believe that's the correct term that was used there. It was either birther goof-off or birther goofball. And I was castigated. And I got to tell you, a good castigation every so often is not bad, but it was just, it's like they didn't read it. They didn't understand it. I didn't question his birth certificate whatsoever. I just questioned him having the birth certificate plastered on his forehead at some time. Personally, I don't think it ever happened. And if it has happened, we're in way too much trouble now. But anyway, a poll came out yesterday. They asked people who they credit now that the Iraq war is over, and our soldiers who are still there are no longer combat soldiers, but targets. They asked people who they would credit for the success in Iraq. 19% would credit President Obama. 54% George Bush. How about that? Bush gets blamed for everything else. The economy, still blaming him for the economy. That whole car in a ditch thing. Well, the car was in the ditch, and now they want us to give them the keys back. Well, we had the recovery, and now we're going down again, which tells me we got the car out of the ditch, and we're driving around in circles, running into things. Anyway, hey, speaking of driving a car, and thanks to one of the Jake fans, If you drive out on I-88, I believe that's the Reagan Memorial Tollway, there are signs, Chicago to CKX or something like that, the CKX Expressway. Apparently, we now have an expressway to Kansas City. That's just another set of signs to confuse us. Chicago, Kansas City. Apparently, there's an interstate. There was a big need for the interstate. Straight shot, although it wasn't a straight shot when I went through Illinois. Apparently, some towns fared better than others because it zigzagged around some towns and went through some other ones. Chicago, Kansas City. I tried to explain to my older son, who's a junior in college, is never going to get out at this rate, the interstate signs, because he looks at the signs and they'll say 90, 94, east, west, whatever. And I told him, you can't do that. Not in Chicago. They don't mean that. In Chicago, it's totally something else. When you go on the Dan Ryan and it says east, you're not going east, you're going south. I said, all you got to do is remember, look at the big buildings that tell you where downtown is and go from there. Anyway, 591-8900 is the phone number. Your chance to chime in the 5 o'clock hour. And a lot of stuff we're going to get to today. But first, we have we have news and all kind of good stuff right here in WS. Back after this.
Road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again.
Awake with Jake. Jake Hartford, 8 9 a.m. WLS.